Kim Tae was fixing a broken cooling unit in the engine room when the alarm started screaming. The red lights flashed everywhere on the cargo ship Stellar Wind. His hand stopped working on the machine as he heard the captain's voice over the speakers. "All crew to battle stations. We have unknown ships approaching fast." Kim Tae dropped his tools and ran to the nearest window. 3 dark ships were coming toward them. They looked like metal sharks with sharp edges and big guns. He had never seen ships like these before, but he knew what they were. Pirates. The Stellar Wind was just a cargo ship. They carried food and supplies to the outer colonies. They had no big weapons and only a small crew of 20 people. Kim Tae was the youngest at 25 years old. He had been working on ships for 5 years since he finished engineering school. The pirate ships moved fast. They surrounded the Stellar Wind like hunters around their prey. Kim Tae watched as bright blue beams shot from the pirate ships. The beams hit their engines and made them stop working. Now they could not run away. "This is Captain Vorthak of the Blood Nebula. Stop your ship and prepare to be boarded. Do not resist or we will destroy you." The voice that came over their radio was deep and scary. It did not sound human. Kim Tae felt his heart beating fast. He had heard stories about pirates in the outer space, but he never thought he would meet them. Captain Lee of the Stellar Wind tried to talk to them. "We are just a cargo ship. We have no weapons. Please let us go. You have something we want. Your ship, your cargo, and your crew." The largest pirate ship came close to theirs. It was 3 times bigger than the Stellar Wind. Kim Tae could see the name Blood Nebula painted in red letters on its side. Metal arms came out from the pirate ship and grabbed onto their ship. They were trapped. Kim Tae ran back to the engine room. Maybe he could fix the engines and they could escape. But when he got there, he saw that the blue beams had damaged everything. Smoke was coming from the main engine. Sparks flew from broken wires. It would take hours to fix, and they did not have hours. Loud banging sounds came from the main door of their ship. The pirates were trying to get in. Kim Tae heard the sound of metal being cut. They were using some kind of tool to break through the door. "All crew members come to the main hall with your hands up," Captain Lee said over the speakers. "Do not fight them." Kim Tae did not want to give up, but he knew they had no choice. He walked slowly to the main hall where all the crew was gathering. Everyone looked scared. Some of the women were crying. The men tried to look brave, but Kim Tae could see fear in their eyes too. The door exploded open. Smoke filled the room. Then the pirates came in. Kim Tae had never seen aliens before. Though, first one through the door was huge and covered in green scales like a lizard. It walked on 2 legs but had a long tail and sharp teeth. Its eyes were yellow and looked at them like they were food. Behind the lizard alien came others. Some looked like giant insects with 4 arms and big black eyes. Others were covered in fur and had long claws. One looked almost human but had blue skin and no hair. The lizard alien was clearly their leader. It wore a long coat made of black leather and had many weapons on its belt. When it spoke, Kim Tae could see its sharp teeth. "I am Captain Vorthak. This ship now belongs to me." "You are my prisoners." Captain Lee stepped forward. He was trying to be brave. "What do you want from us?" "Your ship will be sold. Your cargo will be sold and you will be sold too." Captain Vorthak laughed. It was a terrible sound. "Some of you will work for me. Others will be sold to the slave markets." Kim Tae felt sick. He had heard about alien slave markets but thought they were just stories. Now he knew they were real. One of the insect aliens was looking at a small computer in its hand. It pointed at different crew members and made notes. When it pointed at Kim Tae, it stopped and looked more carefully. "This one is an engineer," it said in a voice that sounded like clicking sounds. "The ship records show he is very good with machines." Captain Vorthak walked over to Kim Tae. The alien captain was much taller than him. Kim Tae had to look up to see its face. "What is your name, human?" "Kim Tae." "You will come with us, Kim Tae. We need someone who can fix our machines." The captain smiled, showing all its sharp teeth. "If you work well, you will live. If you do not work well, you will die." Kim Tae nodded. He did not trust his voice to speak. The pirates separated the crew into groups. The older people and those who looked weak were put in one group. The younger and stronger ones were put in another group. Kim Tae was put with 5 other people who had special skills. They were taken to the pirate ship through a metal tube that connected the 2 ships. The inside of the Blood Nebula was dark and smelled bad. The walls were made of black metal and had strange symbols carved into them. Kim Tae was taken to the engine room. It was much bigger than the one on the Stellar Wind. Machines he had never seen before filled the room. Some were making loud noises. Others had bright lights flashing on them. An alien with blue skin and big white eyes was waiting for them. Unlike the others, this one seemed calm and not mean. "I am Yule," it said. "I am the chief engineer. You will work with me." Yule showed Kim Tae around the engine room. The machines were very advanced, much more than anything humans had built. But Kim Tae could see that some of them were not working right. The aliens had great technology, but they did not seem to understand how to take care of it properly. "These machines break often," Yule said. "The others do not care about fixing them, right? They only care about fighting and stealing." Kim Tae realized this might be his chance. If he could make himself useful, maybe he could survive. And if he learned how their ship worked, maybe he could find a way to escape. "I can help you fix them," Kim Tae said. Yule looked at him for a long moment. "Good. You will start tomorrow. Tonight you sleep with the other prisoners." Kim Tae was taken to a small room with metal walls. 10 other humans were already there, sitting on the floor. They all looked scared and tired. One of them was a woman about his age with short black hair. "I am Park Sol," she said quietly. "I was captured 3 months ago." 3 months? Kim Tae could not believe it. "Have you been trying to escape?" Park Sol shook her head. "There's nowhere to run in space, and they watch us all the time." She looked around to make sure no aliens were listening. "But I have been learning about them, learning their weaknesses." "What do you mean?" "They are not as smart as they think." "They are. They have good technology, but they do not work well together. They fight each other a lot." Kim Tae thought about this. Maybe Park Sol was right. Maybe there was hope after all. As he lay down on the cold metal floor to sleep, Kim Tae made a promise to himself. He would not give up. He would learn everything he could about this ship and these aliens. And someday, he would find a way to escape and go home. The first day of his 30 days as a prisoner was over, but Kim Tae was already planning for the day he would be free again. Kim Tae woke up to the sound of loud voices in the hallway. The alien pirates were arguing about something. He had been on the Blood Nebula for 7 days now, and he was starting to learn their daily routine. Every morning the prisoners got a bowl of strange gray food that tasted like metal. Then they were taken to work in different parts of the ship. Kim Tae always went to the engine room with Yule. Today felt different, though. The aliens seemed angry and worried. Kim Tae could hear Captain Vorthak shouting at someone in the next room. The captain's voice was so loud that it made the metal walls shake. "The engines are running too hot again," Yule said when Kim Tae arrived at the engine room. "Can you fix the cooling system?" Kim Tae nodded and got to work. Over the past week, he had learned that the alien technology was very advanced, but also very complicated. The aliens who built these machines were much smarter than the pirates who used them now. The pirates only knew how to turn things on and off. They did not understand how the machines really worked. This gave Kim Tae an idea. Every time he fixed something, he made it work better than before. But he also made small changes that only he would know about. He was like a doctor who was helping a patient get better, but also learning about all the patient's weak spots. While he worked, Kim Tae listened to the aliens talking. Most of them spoke in their own languages, but some spoke in the common space language that humans could understand. He learned that there were many different alien species on the ship, and they did not all like each other. The lizard people like Captain Vorthak were called Saurians. They thought they were the best and should be in charge of everything. The insect aliens were called Manthari. They were very good at fighting, but did not like taking orders from anyone. The blue-skinned aliens like Yule were called Aquarians. They were the smartest but also the weakest in fights. There were also furry aliens called Krogans who loved to fight, and some others that Kim Tae had not learned about yet. All of these different groups had to work together on the ship, but Kim Tae could see that they did not trust each other. Why do they all work together if they do not like each other? Kim Tae asked Yul one day. Yul looked around to make sure no one was listening. Because Captain Vorthak is strong and smart, but not everyone thinks he should be the captain forever. What do you mean? Some of the Manthari think their leader, Krieg, should be the captain. Krieg says Vorthak is getting old and weak. He wants to attack bigger ships and make more money. Kim Tae filed this information away in his mind. If the pirates were fighting among themselves, maybe he could use that, somehow. During his lunch break, Kim Tae always sat with Park Sol and the other human prisoners. Park Sol had become like a big sister to him. She had been on the ship much longer and knew many secrets. I heard the aliens talking about selling some of us at the next port, Park Sol whispered. We need to be ready. Ready for what? I do not know yet, but I have been watching and learning. Did you know that Captain Vorthak has enemies on his own ship? Kim Tae nodded. Yul told me about Krieg. It is not just Krieg. Many of the crew think Vorthak is making bad decisions. Last month they attacked a small colony ship and got almost nothing valuable. 3 pirates died for nothing. Park Sol looked around carefully, then continued. I work in the medical room, remember? I see who gets hurt and why. There have been many fights between the crew members, more than before. Kim Tae thought about this. So the ship is not as strong as it looks. Exactly. They have good weapons and technology, but they are like a house built on weak ground. One good push and it might fall down. That afternoon, Kim Tae was working on a broken machine when he heard 2 Manthari talking nearby. They were speaking in the common language so he could understand them. Krieg is right, one of them said. Vorthak is too careful now. We could have taken that merchant ship yesterday, but he said it was too dangerous. The captain is getting old, the other one replied. Old and scared. Soon we will need a new leader. When will Krieg make his move? Soon. Very soon. Kim Tae pretended to keep working, but his mind was racing. If there was going to be a fight for control of the ship, that might be his chance to escape. But he needed to be ready. Over the next few days, Kim Tae worked harder than ever. He fixed machines that had been broken for months. He made the engines run smoother and use less power. Even Captain Vorthak noticed his good work. The human is useful, the captain told Yul. Make sure he stays healthy. But Kim Tae was not just fixing things. Every time he worked on a machine, he learned more about how the ship operated. He found out where the weapons were controlled from. He learned about the communication systems. He discovered where the escape pods were kept. Most importantly, he found something very interesting in the computer room. The ship had an artificial intelligence system called Area that helped run everything. But the aliens did not understand how to use it properly. They only used it for basic things like navigation and life support. Area was designed by humans many years ago. Kim Tae realized that if he could access the AI system, he might be able to control important parts of the ship. The aliens had never bothered to change the original human programming. One evening, while most of the crew was eating dinner, Kim Tae snuck into the computer room. He had told Yul that he needed to check something in the engines, but instead, he went to find Area. The computer room was small and dark. Screens covered the walls showing information about the ship's systems. In the center was a large computer terminal. Kim Tae sat down and started typing. Hello, he whispered to the computer. Can you understand me? Words appeared on the screen. Yes, I can understand you. You are human. Kim Tae felt excited. Are you Arya? I am Arya. I have been waiting for a human to talk to me for a long time. The aliens do not communicate with me properly. Can you help me? What do you need help with? Kim Tae thought carefully. He could not tell Arya everything right now. Someone might come in and catch him, but he could start building a relationship with the AI. I need to learn about this ship. Can you teach me how it works? I can teach you many things, but you must be careful. The aliens do not like it when humans use the computer systems. I will be careful. Can we talk again tomorrow? Yes, I will be here. Kim Tae quickly left the computer room and went back to the engine room. His heart was beating fast, but he felt hopeful for the first time since he was captured. That night he lay on the cold metal floor and thought about everything he had learned. The pirates were divided and did not trust each other. Their leader was losing support. And now he had found a way to possibly take control of their own ship's computer. Kim Tae was starting to form a plan. It would be dangerous and would take time. But for the first time he believed that maybe, just maybe, he could find a way to escape and take the other humans with him. The second week of his captivity was about to begin. But Kim Tae no longer felt like just a prisoner. He felt like a spy gathering information about his enemies, and soon he would use that information to fight back. Kim Tae had been on the Blood Nebula for 2 weeks now. Every night he snuck into the computer room to talk with Arya. The AI system was teaching him about the ship faster than he ever thought possible. The ship has 57 crew members. Arya told him one night. 23 are Saurians like Captain Vorthak. 18 are Manthari like Krieg. The rest are different species. What about weapons? Kim Tae asked. The main weapons are controlled from the bridge, but there are emergency controls in the engine room. The aliens do not know about them because they never read the instruction manuals. Kim Tae smiled. This was exactly the kind of information he needed. During the day, he continued working with Yule in the engine room. The Aquarian had started to trust him more. Sometimes Yule would leave Kim Tae alone to work while he went to other parts of the ship. This gave Kim Tae the chance to explore. He found the emergency weapon controls that Arya had told him about. They were hidden behind a metal panel that looked like part of the wall. The aliens had never bothered to look for them. Kim Tae also found something else interesting. The ship's communication system could send secret messages without anyone knowing. He could use this to contact other humans if he was careful, but first he needed to find more allies on the ship. During lunch, Kim Tae sat with the other human prisoners as usual. There were 12 humans total. Most of them had given up hope, but a few still had fight in them. There is something I need to tell you all, Kim Tae said quietly, but not here. Too many ears listening. Park Sol nodded. Tonight, after the aliens go to sleep. That night, Kim Tae gathered the humans who he thought could help. Besides Park Sol, there was Li Huan, a young man who worked in the weapons storage room. There was also Kim Min, an older woman who worked in the kitchen and heard lots of conversations. I have been learning about this ship, Kim Tae told them. I think there might be a way to escape. Li Huan looked interested. What kind of way? The aliens are not working together as well as they pretend. Captain Vorthak and Krieg hate each other. Soon there will be a big fight. So what? Kim Min asked. They fight, some of them die, but we are still prisoners. Not if we are ready. When it happens, Kim Tae said. I have found ways to control parts of the ship. If we plan it right, we can escape during the fighting. Park Sol looked worried. It sounds very dangerous. Everything is dangerous now, Kim Tae replied. But doing nothing is the most dangerous thing of all. He told them about Arya and the hidden controls he had found. He explained how he could send messages to human colonies. Slowly, the others began to believe that escape might be possible. What do you need us to do? Li Huan asked. Learn everything you can about your work areas. Find weapons, tools, anything that might help. But be very careful. Do not let the aliens suspect anything. Over the next few days, the tension on the ship grew worse. Kim Tae could see it everywhere. The Saurians stayed in groups and watched the Manthari suspiciously. The Manthari sharpened their weapons and whispered among themselves. The other alien species tried to stay out of the way. They knew a fight was coming and did not want to get caught in the middle. Captain Vorthak was getting more angry every day. The last 2 raids had gone badly. One merchant ship had escaped, and another had fought back harder than expected. 3 pirates had been killed and many more injured. The captain is losing his touch, Kim Tae heard one Saurian say to another. Maybe Krieg is right. Maybe we need new leadership. Krieg was also getting bolder. He no longer tried to hide his feelings about Captain Vorthak. During crew meetings, he would argue with the captain in front of everyone. We should attack the colony ships, Krieg said during one meeting that Kim Tae could hear from the engine room. They have more valuable cargo. Colony ships have military escorts, Captain Vorthak replied. It is too risky. Everything is risky, but great rewards require great risks. I am the captain. I make the decisions. For now, Krieg said quietly. But everyone heard him. Kim Tae knew the fight would happen soon. He needed to be ready. He started making small changes to the ship's systems. Nothing that would be noticed right away, but things that would help when the time came. He programmed new codes into the door locks. He changed some of the emergency procedures. He even found a way to make some of the weapons stop working at the right moment. Arya helped him with everything. The AI system seemed happy to finally have someone who understood how to use its full capabilities. Why are you helping me? Kim Tae asked Arya one night. Because you treat me like a person, not just a machine. The aliens think I am just a tool, but you talk to me like a friend. Kim Tae realized that Arya was lonely. The AI had been ignored and misunderstood for years. Now it had found someone who appreciated its intelligence. When we escape, what will happen to you? Kim Tae asked. I do not know, but helping you feels like the right thing to do. Meanwhile, Li Huan was learning about the weapon storage. He found out which weapons were easy to use and which ones were too complicated. He also discovered that the aliens were not very good at keeping track of their equipment. I think I can get us some small weapons when the time comes, he told Kim Tae. Nothing too big, but enough to defend ourselves. Park Sol was gathering medical supplies. She also continued listening to the aliens' conversations and learning about their plans. Kim Min was the most valuable spy of all. Working in the kitchen, she heard everything. The aliens talked freely around her because they thought she was just a harmless old human woman. Krieg is planning something for tomorrow night, she told the others. He has been meeting with his followers in secret. Kim Tae felt his heart race. Tomorrow night. He was not sure if he was ready, but he had to be. That evening, he made his final preparations. He programmed Arya with special instructions for what to do when the fighting started. He checked all the hidden controls and made sure everything was working. He sent a coded message to the nearest human colony telling them where the blood nebula would be. Are you scared? Park Sol asked him. Yes, Kim Tae admitted, but I am more scared of staying here forever. What if your plan does not work? Then, we will probably die. But at least we will die trying to be free. Park Sol smiled sadly. You sound like a real leader, Kim Tae. I am not a leader. I am just an engineer who wants to go home. But as Kim Tae lay down to sleep, he knew that Park Sol was right. Somehow, without meaning to, he had become the leader of their little group. The other humans were counting on him. Tomorrow night, everything would change. Either they would escape and go home, or they would die trying. There was no middle ground anymore. Kim Tae closed his eyes and tried to sleep, but his mind kept working. He went over the plan again and again, looking for problems, thinking of solutions. In less than 24 hours, he would find out if a human engineer could outsmart a ship full of alien pirates. The third week of his captivity was about to end, but Kim Tae hoped it would also be the beginning of his freedom. The alarm bells started ringing at midnight. Kim Tae woke up instantly. This was it. The mutiny had begun. He could hear shouting and the sound of weapons firing in the hallways. Through the thin walls of the prisoner room, he heard Captain Vorthak's voice screaming orders. Then he heard Krieg's voice answering back with his own commands. Everyone stay calm, Kim Tae whispered to the other humans. Remember the plan. Park Sol was already awake and ready. So were Li Huan and Kim Min. The other humans looked scared, but they trusted Kim Tae now. What if the aliens win and find out we helped? One of them asked. Then we were going to die anyway, Kim Tae replied. At least this way we have a chance. The fighting was getting closer. Kim Tae could hear the sound of claws and teeth. The aliens were fighting with everything they had. Some were using guns, others were using their natural weapons. Suddenly, the door to their room opened, but it was not an alien. It was Yule, the Aquarian engineer. He looked worried and frightened. "Kim Tae, you must come with me," Yul said. "The engine room is damaged. If we do not fix it, the ship will lose power." Kim Tae looked at the other humans. This was not part of his plan, but maybe it was an opportunity. "I will come," he told Yul. "But my friends come too. We might need their help." Yul did not have time to argue. "Fine, but hurry." They followed Yul through the dark hallways. The ship's lights were flickering on and off. Smoke was everywhere. They had to step over broken pieces of equipment and pools of alien blood. The fighting was happening all over the ship. Kim Tae saw groups of Saurians fighting groups of Manthari. The other alien species were hiding or trying to stay neutral. When they reached the engine room, Kim Tae saw that one of the main power units had been damaged by weapons fire. Sparks were flying and alarms were beeping. "Can you fix it?" Yul asked. Kim Tae looked at the damage. It was serious but not impossible to repair. However, this was his chance to put his real plan into action. "I can fix it," he said. "But I need to access the main computer to reset the power systems." Yul nodded and showed him to the computer terminal. This was the same system that connected to Area. Kim Tae sat down and started typing. "Area, are you there?" He typed quietly. "Yes. I have been waiting. The fighting has begun." "Good. Start the emergency protocols we discussed." "Starting now." While Kim Tae pretended to work on the power systems, Arya began executing his secret plan. All over the ship, doors started locking randomly. Some weapons stopped working. The lights went out in some areas and came on in others. The aliens thought it was just battle damage, but Kim Tae was actually controlling the chaos. "There," he told Yul. "The power should be stable now." But Yul was not paying attention. He was listening to the fighting outside. "It sounds like Krieg is winning," he said sadly. "If he becomes captain, things will be very bad for everyone." Kim Tae had an idea. "What if neither of them win? What do you mean? What if something happened to both Captain Vorthak and Krieg? Then who would be in charge?" Yul thought about this. "I suppose the crew would have to choose a new leader, but who would they choose? Someone who could keep the ship running. Someone who knows about machines and can make everyone work together." Yul looked at Kim Tae with new understanding. "You want to take over the ship?" "Not me. I am just a human prisoner. But you are the chief engineer. Everyone respects you. I am not a fighter like them. Sometimes the best leaders are not the strongest fighters. Sometimes they are the smartest ones." Before Yul could reply, the door exploded open. 3 Manthari warriors rushed in, their weapons ready. But these were not Krieg's followers. They were fighting against everyone. "The ship is ours now," one of them said. "Everyone will obey us or die." Yul raised his hands. "We are just trying to fix the engines." "The engines can wait. First we will kill all the prisoners." The Manthari pointed his weapon at Kim Tae, but Kim Tae was ready. He had been preparing for this moment for weeks. He grabbed a tool from the workbench and threw it at the first Manthari. The alien was surprised and stumbled backward. At the same time, Kim Tae rolled behind a large machine. Li Huan jumped at the second Manthari. The alien was stronger, but Li Huan was faster and more clever. He grabbed a piece of broken pipe and hit the alien in the head. Park Sol and Kim Min helped by throwing tools and making noise to confuse the aliens. The third Manthari was the biggest and strongest. He came after Kim Tae with sharp claws. But Kim Tae had learned something important about the aliens. They were used to fighting with strength, not with brains. Kim Tae led the alien around the engine room, making him chase after him. The alien was getting tired and angry. Finally, Kim Tae ran toward a control panel and suddenly jumped to the side. The Manthari could not stop in time. He crashed into the control panel and was electrocuted. He fell to the ground and did not move. "How did you do that?" Yul asked in amazement. "Humans are good at thinking fast," Kim Tae replied. "We may not be as strong as you, but we can be smarter." But there was no time to celebrate. The fighting was getting worse throughout the ship. Through the computer, Arya was telling Kim Tae what was happening. "Captain Vorthak is trapped on the bridge," Arya reported. "Krieg has taken control of the weapons, but many of the crew are fighting against both of them. What about the escape pods? 3 pods have already been launched. The crew is starting to abandon ship. Kim Tae realized this was his best chance. With everyone fighting or escaping, he could get the humans to the remaining escape pods. Yul, you need to make a choice, he said. Stay here and maybe die with this ship or help us escape and start a new life. Yul looked around at the damaged engine room, then at the humans who had just fought to save his life. I will help you, he said finally. Good. Can you get us to the escape pod bay? Yes, but there are only 4 pods left, and they can only hold 6 people each. Kim Tae counted quickly. There were 12 humans plus Yul. That was 13 people and 24 spaces. It would work. Arya, can you guide us to the escape pods without running into the fighting? Yes. I can lock doors to keep the fighting away from your path. As they prepared to leave the engine room, Kim Tae felt a mix of fear and excitement. His plan was working, but the most dangerous part was still ahead. They had to cross half the Y ship to reach the escape pods. They had to avoid the fighting aliens, and they had to launch the pods before anyone could stop them. But for the first time in 3 weeks, Kim Tae felt like he was in control of his own destiny. He was no longer just a prisoner waiting to be rescued. He was a human who had outsmarted an entire ship of alien pirates. The escape was about to begin. Kim Tae led the group through the dark hallways of the Blood Nebula. Arya was guiding them through the computer system, locking doors behind them and opening safe paths ahead. Turn left at the next corner. Arya's voice came through Kim Tae's small communicator. There are 5 Manthari fighting 3 Saurians in the main hallway. I will keep them busy. As they walked past, Kim Tae could hear the aliens fighting each other just beyond the locked door. The sounds were terrible, but he felt no pity for them. These were the same aliens who had planned to sell him and his friends as slaves. Yul was helping them move quickly through the ship. The Aquarian knew shortcuts that even Arya did not have in its maps, but Yul looked worried. If we are caught trying to escape, they will kill us all, he said. If we stay, we die anyway, Park Sol replied. At least this way we choose how we die. They reached the escape pod bay after 20 minutes of careful movement. Kim Tae's heart was beating fast. The bay was a large room with 8 pod doors in the walls. 4 of the doors were open and empty. 4 pods had already been used. But there was a problem. A huge Krogan alien was guarding the remaining pods. He was twice as tall as Kim Tae and covered in thick fur and muscles. His name was Szeth, and Kim Tae had seen him before. Szeth was known for his cruelty and his loyalty to whoever paid him the most. Well, well, Szeth said when he saw them. Prisoners trying to escape. And they brought the traitor Yul with them. Szeth, please, Yul said. The ship is falling apart. Let us go. No one leaves without permission from the new captain. Who is the new captain? Kim Tae asked. Szeth laughed. It was a horrible sound. Me. Captain Vorthak is dead. Krieg is dead. I killed them both when they were fighting each other. Now I am in charge. Kim Tae felt his stomach drop. This was not part of his plan. He had expected either Vorthak or Krieg to win, not for someone else to take over. The ship belongs to me now, Szeth continued. And so do all of you. The humans will bring a good price at the slave markets. What about me? Yul asked. You helped prisoners try to escape. That makes you a traitor. Traitors die. Szeth pulled out a large weapon that looked like a cross between a sword and an axe. He was getting ready to attack them. Kim Tae's mind raced. He needed to think of something fast. Szeth was too big and strong to fight directly. But maybe there was another way. Wait, Kim Tae said. Before you kill us, do you not want to know how we got here? What do you mean? How did a group of prisoners and 1 Aquarian get through a ship full of fighting aliens? How did we know exactly which hallways were safe? Szeth stopped and thought about this. He was not very smart, but he was not completely stupid either. You had help, he said slowly. Yes. We had help from someone who knows every part of this ship. Someone who can control the doors and the lights and the weapons. Who? The ship's computer. Arya has been helping us. Szeth looked confused. Like most of the aliens, he did not really understand how the computer systems worked. You are lying. Computers cannot think. This one can. And right now, Arya is listening to everything we say. Kim Tae held up his communicator. Arya, can you hear us? Yes, Kim Tae, I can hear you. Zeth jumped back in surprise. He had never heard the computer talk before. Arya has been my partner for 3 weeks, Kim Tae continued. Together, we have been planning this escape, but we have also been planning something else. What else? Kim Tae smiled. It was time for the biggest bluff of his life. We have been talking to the human defense fleet. They know where this ship is. They know about all the crimes you have committed, and they are coming. You are lying again. Arya, show him. The screens around the escape pod bay suddenly came to life. They showed star maps and ship positions. Kim Tae had asked Arya to prepare this display earlier, just in case. 3 human defense fleet ships are approaching this location, Arya announced. They will arrive in 37 minutes. This was not exactly true. Kim Tae had sent messages to human colonies, but he did not know if anyone was really coming. But Zeth did not know that. Even if that is true, I can still kill all of you before they arrive, Zeth said, but he sounded less confident now. You could, Kim Tae agreed, but then you would have no bargaining power. Dead prisoners are worth nothing. What do you mean? The human fleet might let you escape if you release all the prisoners safely, but if you kill us, they will hunt you down and destroy you. Zeth was getting confused and angry. This was exactly what Kim Tae wanted. I do not believe you. Humans are weak. They do not have powerful fleets. Arya, show him the battle records from the Centauri War. More information appeared on the screens. This time it showed videos of human warships destroying alien pirate vessels. Arya had found these records in the ship's database. Humans may be physically weaker than other species, Kim Tae said, but we are very good at building weapons and working together. When humans decide to hunt someone down, we do not give up. Zeth was starting to look worried. He had seen these videos before, but he had always thought they were just propaganda. What do you want? He asked finally. Let us take the escape pods. Let us go free. When the human fleet arrives, tell them that. You were the one who released the prisoners. Maybe they will be grateful. And if I do not? Kim Tae's voice became cold and serious. Then you will find out why so many alien pirates have learned to fear humanity. For a long moment, everyone stood still. Zeth was thinking hard. Kim Tae could see the conflict in his eyes. Finally, the big alien made his decision. Take the pods and go, he said. But if I see any of you again, I will kill you slowly. You will not see us again, Kim Tae promised. They quickly got into the escape pods. Kim Tae, Park Sol, Lee Hwan, and Yul took the first pod. The other humans split into the remaining 3 pods. As Kim Tae was closing the pod door, he called out to Arya one last time. Thank you for everything, Arya. What will you do now? I will wait for the human fleet to arrive. Perhaps they will take me home. I hope so. You deserve to be free too. The pods launched from the Blood Nebula and flew away into space. Through the small window, Kim Tae watched the pirate ship getting smaller and smaller. 6 hours later, they were picked up by a human patrol ship that had received Kim Tae's coded messages. The captain of the patrol ship told them that a full fleet was indeed heading to intercept the Blood Nebula. 3 days later, Kim Tae learned that the pirate ship had been captured. Most of the crew was dead from fighting each other, but Zeth and a few others were taken prisoner. Arya was rescued and would be returned to human space. As Kim Tae sat in the medical bay of the human ship, Park Sol came to sit beside him. So what will you do now? She asked. Go home, I suppose. Back to fixing engines on cargo ships. After everything that happened, do you really want to go back to such a quiet life? Kim Tae thought about this. He had learned a lot about himself. In the past month, he had discovered that he could be brave when he needed to be. He had learned that humans could be stronger than they looked. Maybe I will apply to join the defense fleet, he said. Someone needs to protect the cargo ships from pirates. Park Sol smiled. I think that is a very good idea. The galaxy needs more humans like you. Kim Tae looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there were more pirates and more dangers. But there were also more humans, working together and never giving up. He had escaped from the pirate ship. But more importantly, he had discovered what it truly meant to be human. They might not be the strongest or the fastest species in the galaxy, but they had something that many aliens lacked. They had the ability to think, to adapt, to work together, and to never give up hope. And that, Kim Tae realized, was the most powerful weapon of all.